Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars, welcome to another PlayStation review. Today's review is for Murder Mystery Machine. This game is available on the PlayStation Store right now, and it is a game that is available on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and the footage you are seeing is from my PlayStation 5. Now what do you get with this game, Murder Mystery Machine? No, it's not a Scooby-Doo game. That was my initial thoughts when I first heard about this game. This game essentially is a detective game. You play a newly qualified detective called Cass. She starts her job as a detective with a grizzled veteran detective called Nate, and it is their job to investigate crime scenes and bring the guilty to justice. Now, if you watch my reviews and you watch my content fairly regularly, you know that I like good chilled out games, and I like sometimes games that will test you intellectually, and I certainly like adventure games and detective games. I love the Sherlock Holmes types games, and my favourite game of all time in regards to being a detective is LA Noire. So this is a game that really interested me because I'm always up for some type of detective game. I like these sort of games. I like the way they can be challenging. And this game is very cheap to pick up. I think it's about £10 or £12 to pick up. It wasn't expensive at all. And with this game, it's like a unique top-down isometric view. And it's split into like 8 episodes. Now, each episode is kind of split into about 5 scenes, and each scene you have to complete before you unlock the next scene. So you have to investigate everything in one scene, put all the clues together before the next scene opens up. And then when you get to the end of that story, a new episode opens up. So you've got 8 episodes, and each scene in each episode has got like 5 sections to it. And apparently, when I've looked into this, all of the episodes are written by TV and film veterans. So these are proper writers that have been involved in TV shows and films and things. I'm not sure what, but it's quite clear to say when you play these episodes. And I haven't done them all yet. I've done quite a few of them now. I think I'm on my 6th episode now. They are fairly bog standard type investigative scenarios that you would see on fairly middling detective shows on TV, I suppose it's fair to say. And they range from things like a politician turning up dead, you have to investigate a missing person, etc., etc. They go on, and there's some more complex than others. And your job is to investigate each scene, and then as you can see on the screen now, you will connect the clues. You'll pick up clues at the scene by talking to and having chats to suspects, interviewing them, putting clues together, and then walking around the scene and seeing what other clues can be found at the scene. And then you essentially, very much as you would be used to like the Sherlock Holmes games, when those games, if you've played them, you will recognise some aspects of this game. You've got to kind of link clues together. And then to sometimes move on from the scene, you have to link clues, and you've got to kind of determine who, where, and what, basically. So who is the suspect? Where did a crime take place? And what murder weapon was used, for example. And you've got to basically put all these clues together before you could unlock and move on to the scenes. Now, the biggest downfall to this game, it has to be said, is there's no voice acting. To me, that is a real shame to this game, because it really would have helped the narrative. It would have helped the immersion of this game. You do find yourself reading text dialogues, and it's just fairly uninspired stuff, really. And this game desperately needed, I think, some voice acting to really elevate it to a pretty decent detective game. Because of that, I think it's going to put a lot of people off. But it is still very playable, this game, for what it is. If a little bit... I'm not sure really how to describe it, really. When you're putting clues together, sometimes you get that many clues unlocked, and you're just not sure what to link to what. You get some with question marks on, which are more important than others, and you've got some with link marks on, so you have to link them to other places. And you find yourself linking them to things that make logical sense. And then, as it turns out, that was the wrong place to link it. And where it should have been linked doesn't really sometimes make a lot of sense. So you think you're being clever and you think you're being logical by putting the pieces of evidence together, and it doesn't always work out that way. However, for those of you out there that you're not really into like these sort of detective games where it's going to hurt your grey matter sort of thing, there is a system here where you can ask for a tip for a number of times. I'm not sure, it's about 3 times per scene, and you can get a tip, and it'll tell you which evidence will link together, or even where there's a missing piece of evidence hidden on the scene. Which can be very, very useful, because you will find yourself quite a lot in this game getting stuck and trying to figure out how to link the clues together. And you'll find yourself spending a good 30 minutes sometimes just on one of the evidence scenes where you're linking things together, trying to figure out. And sometimes if you do link the right bits of evidence together, it will unlock some new evidence, which could be like a question for a suspect, or even some conversation with your partner who will try and point you in the right direction. So that's essentially the gist of this game. You go from each episode to each scene, gathering evidence, talking to suspects, interviewing people. There are some secrets to pick up in the scenes that will unlock new outfits for yourself and your partner. But you'll find yourself not really bothering about those sort of things. They aren't really that exciting. I think there's 4 outfit changes for both characters. But you only really generally do the majority of the investigating with Cass, the female character. The other one is really just there as an advisory, your partner Nate. So it is a bit limited. And once you've done the first couple of cases, it all starts fitting into place and you understand it a little bit better, but it never really evolves from the early parts of the game other than the scenarios and the scenes that you go to. So this will really depend on you guys. If you're a fan of detective games, there is quite a bit here to enjoy. It is quite limited. The visuals are a little bit uninspiring, but it does the basics and it does what it says on the tin. I'll give this one a 6 out of 10. So I hope you found this review useful, guys. I'll see you on the next one.